Peace and blessings, beloveds. I am that I am. Astarius Miraculii. Loving you with the passion of heaven. And welcome to Ascension Live. Ascension Live is given every Monday on Facebook, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, every Friday on Instagram, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Also, be sure and experience my website, Astarius.com. Great number of music albums and a couple of books. I'm also available for intuitive astrological readings and sound healing transmissions with didgeridoo and vocal harmonics. Thank all of you for your kindness in sending your donations. I graciously receive them via Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and a donation button on my website. My email access for the PayPal is astarius@astarius.com. So be sure and offer your comments. Many of the comments that you offer will be an amazing blessing for so many other people. I am broadcasting to you from my Ascension Temple home, which is called Ascension Temple. This is the 13th incarnation of Ascension Temple, and I am located in the Red Rocks of Sedona. And so when you are interfacing with me, you're also receiving some transmissions from the vortex frequency of Sedona. So know that you have that Sedona vortex energy working on your behalf as well. Today's subject is ascended solutions. You know, we're living in a time within our world where solutions to challenges, solutions to difficulties, solutions to problems are so important, very important right now. And one of the things that we tend to do sometimes in the human experience is to focus more energy on the problem, more energy on what we're disenchanted with, what we're dissatisfied with, than we give energy to the actual things that we want to bring into being. And so we want to really develop the art of training our attention in a different way so that we're actually paying attention to what it is that we really want. And so I'm going to share with you some techniques today, some things that we can actually do to create some changes. And also, I haven't shared in a while behind the mask of COVID-19. So this is a download that I received some weeks ago. I'm guided to share it again, and then we'll speak a little bit about it. I see a lot of my beloveds coming on. I see Nanette, I see Nanda, and I'm loving all of you with the passion of heaven. Thank you so much for presencing with me behind the mask of COVID-19. Here is the story of COVID-19, a deadly virus that's come on the scene, trying to blind us with fear and divide us with woe, but we are much stronger than this virus knows. We are born of Creator from heaven above. Our deepest being is wholeness and love, heart, mind, and soul, divinely immune, empowered we are by this would-be doom. While holding that space of 6 feet apart, be in your love and share from your heart. Our life is infinite as God's own breath, so don't be assaulted by fear of death. We walk down the halls of eternity, so calm down, beloved. We are safe. We are free. Let's see what is needed so our prayer will be heeded. Let's see it as though we've already succeeded. Health and wholeness is our divine birthright. Affirming this will thus heal our plight. Though things seem worse than our darkest dream, we will find our way. We will be redeemed to a world without fear and malicious control. A new paradigm is about to unfold. No mask will drive a wedge between us, won't silence our voice, won't break our trust, won't rob us of breath, won't taint us with fear. Our heart, mind is open. We are strong. We are clear. No matter what crisis this virus will bring, we are empowered by everything. With eyes of God, we see past the lie, where sickness will perish and death will die. And so we want to respond to the things that are going on in the world in such a way that we do, in fact, come into a place of greater empowerment, not only for ourselves individually, but we also behave in such a way that we offer empowerment to the oneness of the wholeness. See, no mask will drive a wedge between us. So what do you feel when you see the mask? What do you feel when you feel that you are compelled to wear the mask? One of the things behind the mask is a tremendous amount of fear. The Most High instructed me to, whenever I see the mask, or if I walk into an establishment that requires the mask, that I affirm, we are ascended, we are innocent, we are benevolent, we are gracious, we are immune. And so whenever I am face to face with the mask, in whatever way, I make affirmations of exaltation. Yes, in human actuality, there's a tremendous amount of fear that is oftentimes behind the mask. But what do I want to breathe life force into? Do I want to breathe life force into the debilitation of being, the diminishment of being. If I affirm the fear, and if I'm in full acknowledgement of the fear, then I'm affirming it. Even if I get angry about the mask, I'm affirming it. My anger is going to breathe life force into the very thing that I don't want. So we want to look at the ways in which we can truly be empowered by everything. Because this thing is trying to blind us with fear and divide us with woe. I don't know if I've known another time when human beings were this afraid of each other. To be afraid of you would be to be afraid of my own self. You are my own self by extension. Maybe, well, not even maybe, let's decisively see the immunity, see the strength, affirm the immunity, affirm the strength, affirm the invincibility, invisibility, and invulnerability to all disease, all viruses. Sometimes we get so caught up in what can we do to maintain physical immunity that we forget that immunity begins on the level of spiritual, mental, and emotional immunity. If we are in the visualization, affirming through what we see in our inner vision, the wholeness, then we are helping to facilitate and establish immunity. Yes, we are born of our Creator from heaven above. And our deepest being is wholeness and love. That's our natural state of being. Wholeness, love, wellness, immunity. You see, it is unnatural to be sick. It is unnatural to be in a downward spiral of self-debilitation. This is a temporary anomaly along the course of time. And so while you're holding that space of 6 feet apart, you want to be in your love and share of your heart. And do everything that you can do to begin to bring more and more and more and more breath into your body. See, the very thing that COVID-19 is said to attack, which is the lungs and the breathing, is exacerbated by this whole thing of the mask. You can't get a full breath in with that mask. So then the brain is oxygen starved. See, the brain cells needs oxygenation, which then makes the mind sharper. You see, so, well, there's one thing that you can do, that can help in the breathing process. You could put a couple of drops of peppermint oil and maybe even some eucalyptus oil, but mainly the peppermint oil, and put it in the bottom part of the mask, which is going to cause you to bring in a greater measure of breath. But one of the difficulties is as we exhale the impurities, because there are impurities that are expelled from the body when we exhale, when that exhalation of breath is trapped within the mask, we simply breathe that back in. So this is supposed to be for the preservation of health, and yet there is the possibility of debilitation of health. I'm not telling you how to do it or don't do it, but I'm just sharing with you this wisdom. Okay? The other thing is that when you're outside of the mask, bring even more breath into your body. And if you're driving in your car and you're the only one in the car, take that thing off. There's nobody in the car but you. You're walking down the street, you're taking a walk, and there's nobody else around you. Take that thing off. Breath is God hiding in plain sight within the body. When God breathed the breath of life into us and we became living souls, then we, or let us say the breath, is that resonance of Creator inside of us. When we can take in a greater measure of breath, we are ingesting more of God. It's a really important thing. I want to share with you a couple techniques. One technique that's really powerful that you can do, it's called Iya, which is something Spirit taught me from within many years ago when a dear friend of mine, when I lived in Sedona the very first time, a dear friend had come to Sedona and was leaving, and I was offering a blessing to him, and all of a sudden out of nowhere I began to go, and then his body began to go into a trance, and this amazing miraculous moment began to happen. And Spirit has taught me that Iya means from the beginningless beginning, and Waya means into the endless end. Iya is E-Y-A-H, Waya is W-A-Y-A-H. So this is a really powerful way of aligning, with the divine. So I'm going to do it for just a couple minutes. If you want to join in with me, you can, or you can do it later. But this is just to give you a little bit of the transmission of the download. I am inhaling the two syllables Iya and exhaling the two syllables Waya. The Iya frequency has the capacity to take you straight to bliss. Play around with that, and when you have some profound experiences, then put it in the chat at some point, if not in this live, in another one, and just share a little bit about what your experience with the Iya was. Also, another powerful technique is meditating to the resonance of I am. I am is the name that we share in the family of life with God. I am is one of the most profound names of God. So when you're meditating with the I am, you inhale I, and then you exhale am. You inhale I, and then you exhale am. This is extremely powerful and can take you into that place of peace and blessedness. We want to use the power of visualization. Sometimes we don't do that enough in decisive ways. We allow our fear to become, an expression of visualization by default. When we get gripped with fear, and in our fear we're looking at all of the possibilities of the worst outcomes, we're actually in the misuse of our imagination, because we're allowing our visualization to be trained upon the very outcomes that we really don't want in life. So let's be decisive about how we use our visualization. Like, one of the ways in which we could use our visualization is we could envision that all of our governmental officials are waking up in consciousness across the world, that they are becoming aware of the negativity that has been engaged in. They're becoming aware of the importance of transcending the bureaucratic bullying and the legalized gangsterism. We could visualize and see with all of the passion of heaven that there is a redemption occurring, and that the consciousness of those powers that be, those false powers that be, are raising up into a higher vibration. If enough of us are visualizing this, then we're breathing life force into the thought form of having benevolent governmental systems within our planet and on our planet. And we can effect tremendous change by just using the power of our mind, the power of our visualization. Whenever we visualize something that is divine and that is wholesome for the all that is, then that thought becomes magnetic and attracts other thoughts of a like nature, formulating a thought tribe and becoming so accelerated in vibration that the power then eventually morphs into the manifestation of that very thing that we have visualized. Another way in which we can empower ourselves is knowing that we are not alone. We are all one. We are focalizations of the oneness of the wholeness. You see, even if you're in a state of fear, in that moment you might say, I allow myself to harmonically converge with every being in the whole of existence that's courageous right now. Even though I'm humanly in a moment of fear, I'm not going to breathe life force into that fear, but I'm going to take my attention and I'm going to look everywhere and everywhere, from beginningless beginning to endless end, that I can see courageousness. I am in the recognition that every courageous being is my own self by extension. I'm going to link up the telepathic battery cables from my heart mind to the heart mind of every courageous being, and I'm going to initiate the soul jumpstart, and I'm going to jumpstart myself by virtue of the courageousness that exists within this world, even the courageousness of my Creator. I am descendant of God, Goddess Absolute. Therefore, I am the microcosmic container of the macrocosmic all that is, and that includes all of the courage that is, was, or ever will be, all of the love that is, was, or ever will be, all of the peace that is, was, or ever will be, all of the immunity that is, was, or ever will be. I am using the decisive power of that creative juice of my divinity to create the realities that I want. And I'm going to know that I'm a wave in the ocean of life. And as I am obedient to the tide, the whole power of the ocean is then in back of me. I am harnessing the power of the whole ocean of life, the whole ocean of peace, the whole ocean of love, the whole ocean of divinity, the whole ocean of immunity, and I'm allowing it to back the wave of my individualization of soul essence. And even though I'm only one wave in the ocean of life, as I roll upon the shores, the whole power of the ocean is now in back of me. Harness the power of the whole universe, beloved. You have that power. We have that power. See, that's why even in loving yourself, it isn't something that you even have to do. You don't do love. Love does you. Love is an eternal happening. Never is there a time when love is not about the business of loving. Love is never missing. The only thing that can be missing is focused attention upon it, where we allow attention to be hijacked and we're paying attention to something other than love, and then we're in the illusion that we don't have love, while at the same time, in this greater expanse of our infinite beingness, there is this delicious dance of love that's always going on. See, love is a reality that we allow into being, just like the universe was allowed into being. Why is the language in the creation story? Let there be light. Allow the light to be. Let there be, let there be light. Let the earth bring forth grass. Let us make man and woman in our own image. See, to let is to allow, because all of the great realities already exist as intangible embryos in the womb of creation. And so by virtue of our creative process, when we're creating, we're simply allowing into being that which already formlessly is. And then formlessness will morph into form and manifestation. We want to also begin to include Goddess in our prayers. You know, we live in a patriarchal society that acknowledges divinity as being exclusively male. You know, some of the religious forms, you know, it's always Father God, Father God, Father God. No mention whatsoever of Mother God. Of course, they couldn't get rid of Mama altogether because she's disguised as the Holy Spirit in many religions. But when we openly begin to pray to Goddess, you know, there is a compassion, there is a benevolence, there is a tenderness. We need the frequency of Goddess right now on our planet. You know, that is a lot of the benevolence that will help to heal this situation that we're in. So remember to include in your spiritual practice acknowledgement and prayer unto the Goddess, and prayer for the patriarchy to move a little bit over off of the central throne and share the throne of being with Goddess. Because the male principle was not meant to lord over the female principle, and the female principle is not meant to lord over the male principle, for it's basically two facets of one reality. So let's come home to a greater absoluteness of who we are. Also, many people have a difficult time around believing in that they are heard by others. So they speak their truth and feel like, well, they're not really getting it. I said A, B, C, they heard X, Y, Z. I said red, they heard blue. So I want to share with you a little technique to up-level your faith in what it is that you're speaking. Now, in yoga, many of you know the term Mula Bandha. You know, pregnant women know the term Kegels. You know, talking about the pubococcygeal muscle, that muscle that is between the anus and the genitalia. Okay, that's the Kundalini Pump. And if you still don't know what I'm talking about, if you had to go to the bathroom and you had to pee, but somebody was in there and taking a long, long time, and you had to go really bad, the muscle that you will squeeze to keep from baptizing yourself in an unholy way, that's the muscle I'm talking about. That's the Kundalini Pump. Kundalini connects with the reproductive force within our being, you know, which is that which feeds the chakras, the energy centers within our body. So let's say you want to give greater strength to what it is that you're speaking. Now I'm going to just say in general, and I want you to do the same. I'm going to use my name, you use your name. In general, I'm saying, my name is Astarius, it's very nice to meet you. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze that PC muscle nice and tight and say the same thing. My name is Astarius, it's very nice to meet you. Tremendous magnification of power when I'm speaking and squeezing. So when you really want to be heard, you know, be speaking and squeezing. What that's going to do is it's going to, one, it's going to elevate your faith in what it is that you're communicating, so you believe in a greater likelihood of being understood while you're communicating, but you'll also become less attached to the need to be understood. You'll still want to be understood, but you won't need to be understood. See, you'll be at resonance with the expectation of inspiration rather than the expectation of desperation. Also, when you're speaking and squeezing, you're creating an environment on the other end of greater receivership. Sometimes there's such a powerful magnetic force emanating through what you're communicating that the person that you're communicating with just wants to kind of lean in and really get what it is that you're offering. So this is an amazing technique. As simple as it may seem, it can make a major difference in your power of communication. When I offer sound healing, when I do vocal harmonic, when I play the didgeridoo, oh my God, I'm playing and squeezing, I'm overtoning and squeezing. See, and that's connected to the reproductive system. It's something that naturally, pulses, when man and woman come together, in sacred copulation and make a baby. You see? So that same creation force can manifest anything. So I'll leave it to you to investigate further into that. But I just shared with you an amazingly powerful technique. So work with that. I think I want to offer some didgeridoo. I haven't played the didgeridoo today. I got this one here I call Baby Astarius, named after one of my inner children. I have twins. I have baby Astarius and little Miraculii. My sacred twins. They're like sacred rascals. I let them out to play regularly. So let me offer some of this frequency for you. And while I play the didgeridoo, I'd like for you to focus upon, what it is that you're wanting to manifest in your life. And also, let's mutually focus upon absolute world healing. One mountain hides of heaven's land. I now invoke the master plan, because it's my divine birthright. I'm giving back my cosmic sight. At dawn of life, I was so high, and with the angels I did fly. I now dissolve all blinding pain, the ancient times now come again. 'Tis in the name of holy peace that all my blessings now increase. My great abundance now comply with power of my single eye. I bless the darkness, make it right, reverse the tide and free the light. God, Goddess, make my power ever pure, else let the power not endure. I love and lift my fellow man and woe man and understand the master plan. For me, there's simply nothing new except that which my soul always knew. First I spin at speed of light, within without come now my sight. Mighty Spirit Elohim, make truth of this my cosmic dream. Yes, my eye is really single, with light my body does now tingle. Oh, my soul is so brand new, I now know all that I once knew. I haven't shared spirit rap in a long time. It's my most treasured and celebrated track, and it just feels like spirit rap needs to come on through right now. So let me share this spirit rap frequency. Oh my God, get ready for a ride. Okay, well, that's not the one, that's the first track. Let's go a little further. Here we go, here we go. Oh, I love you so much. Cellular ascension of my being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual in this now, with the full support of God, Goddess, the ascended master realm, to include our ascended master self, Father Saint Germain, Sananda, the Holy Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, Archangel Michael and the legions, Ashtar and the entire command, Babaji, Raphael, Gabriel, clan of the trumpet angels, aboriginal and tribal shaman, Goddess of the fortune, angels of light, Elohim, clan of the serpents, Shiva, all Christ frequencies, all animal totems, elementals of fire, air, water, and earth, all divine beings of light, love, and ascension, named and unnamed, to activate the cells within my being who are your counterpart, with the unified power of the one. I decree my highest good always operating in this now. I decree grace and mercy always operating in this now. I invoke, decree, and dream awake the full truth and reality of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake with every breath that I breathe the violet fire transmuting my whole being. I invoke and dream awake the full current of ascension in every cell of my being. I am ascended. I invoke and dream awake expanded God consciousness fully realized in me as unlimited abundance fulfilling my every need and desire. I invoke and dream awake the ending of procrastination, tiredness, blockages, obstacles, and unhealthy belief systems. I decree immediate abundance in my life. I invoke and dream awake my liberation from all karmic debt. I am infinite opulence. I invoke and dream awake my personal empowerment in every instant that anyone is impacted by my being and creations. I invoke and dream awake the infinite empowerment of my sexual, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial relationship with life. I invoke and dream awake sacred sexuality, erotic innocence, and always express the sacredness of sexual force for pleasure, creativity, and healing. I invoke and dream awake world universal healing from all sexual woundedness and shame. I invoke and dream awake worldwide release of all manipulating forces and beings who would control humanity, past, present, and future. I invoke the angels and ascended masters to realign and heal all misused energy, to include the full restructuring of our DNA. I invoke and dream awake the transmutation of all negative and judgmental projections. I invoke and dream awake my constant ability to be centered and balanced in my psychic perceptions and empathic nature. All overwhelming psychic energies are released by me automatically, easily, effortlessly. I am empowered by everything. I invoke and dream awake my lucid dreaming each night I sleep and total remembering when I awake. I invoke and dream awake my infinite harmony with God, Goddess I am. I invoke and dream awake the full expression of my miraculous healing power. My life is a continuous stream of miracles. I invoke and dream awake my infinite ability and willingness to receive all life's blessings. I invoke and dream awake a constant attitude of gratitude for my whole life, all my accomplishments and blessings, including the same for the universe at large. I invoke and dream awake the full blessings of God, Goddess, the ascended masters, angels, guides, and beings of light to bless this earth. I invoke and dream awake all my decrees, invocations, and prayers I have released to the universe, and open myself to God's response, support, and love in my highest good. I invoke and dream awake the release of all past, present, and future lifetimes of decrees and vows which would bind me to limitation, lack, density, and anything not of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake the full reclaiming of my eternal self as powerful, loving, and fully aligned in abundant God consciousness. I invoke and dream awake the total dissolving of all manipulating forces which would bind this earth plane in fear. I invoke and dream awake the influence of the ascended master realm and angels to intercede and raise the vibrations higher, to bring darkness into the light, raising the frequency of love and God consciousness on planet Earth in this now. I invoke and dream awake the ascension of planet Earth